Green with DFC. I'm Jason Gilbo. With me is Chris Etherington. Taking a look at the Waste Management Open here. Personally, one of my favorite, tournaments to watch. We were just talking about that 16th hole, which is always just incredibly fun to just watch throughout the entire week.
Yeah, the 16th hole is basically that one hole where just go ahead and go there on Saturday and just stay there and watch it. The pros will miss the green. The guys will fool you. If you hit a good shot, hit it close, they will cheer for you. And I mean, if you get a hole of one, then yeah, there's going to be a lot of fear flying around. So it's a really fun tournament to watch on TV. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this week.
Yeah, definitely. And last week was a fun tournament. I mean, one that kind of came down to the wire. A surprising one because, a lot of guys missed the cut.
Yeah, last week was strange. A lot of big names missed the cut. You had Jason Day and Dustin Johnson, which were the popular plays at the top. And then even the guys in the middle range, you had Berger, you had Kepka, all those guys just missing the cut on Friday. It was just one of those weeks where, yeah, you just kind of have to mark it as just a weird week. If you had, say, Charles Howell or someone like that finished in the top five, and you had just 4 of 6, you might have done okay for the week.
Yeah, and this week a little bit different. We get a couple of names that weren't in last week, and obviously early on in the season here, you take last week and you kind of throw it out the window just a little bit. Usually that doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, typically a lot of the big names don't fall apart like they did last week. So yeah, you just kind of have to take it as it is and go, okay, on to next week.
Yeah, and that's what we'll do here. Couple of guys that are priced up. I mean, there's only 3 guys that are in the double-digit priced here: Spieth, Matsuyama, and Justin Thomas. I mean, in your GPP article, you didn't list any of those guys. Are you just kind of looking more to spin downwards, or do you have a preference of maybe one of those 3?
And one of those 3, I would probably have to go to Matsuyama. He might be popular this week. Then again, I don't know what's going to happen with ownership-wise between those 3. With Thomas playing like he is, and then you have Jordan Spieth at the top. But then you also have Matsuyama, who's been red hot recently, towards the end of last year. And then he's also the defending champion for this week. So, I mean, if you have to pick one, I would probably go with Matsuyama just because he has a good track record at this course. But the other 2 guys will be good picks as well. I think the ownership will be spread out between the 3, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, each kind of have their own little, mark on this course, and obviously kind of coming into this week. You have a lot of guys kind of here listed in the cheaperish range and starting, moving down the list here. Last week's winner, you like him again here.
Yeah, last week, for some reason, I decided to fade him last week. Just didn't think that his game stood up at Torrey. But obviously I was wrong. He had an awesome finish the last 5 or 6 holes, making 2 eagles and making that long putt on 18. For this week, yeah, this is basically his backyard. He went to school to Arizona. He also played here last year with a 5th place finish. And yeah, there's really nothing else to say about him. Like, the guy is really good. And it's going to be very hard to fade him, knowing that his ownership is probably going to be, I would say, at least 40%, if not more, across the board.
Yeah, I mean, which is high, and we
Yeah.
saw what Charles Howell last week was. In GPPs at least, he was around 35% higher in cash games. Obviously, one of the locks. He's not there this week, and I know you have a guy that you're kind of calling, a comparison to how Charles Howell has been.
Yeah, yeah, that guy is Russell Knox at 7,500. He's basically the Charles Howell for this week. His price seems a little cheaper than normal. We're used to playing him at mid 8,000 range, maybe closer to 9. He had a 15th finish, I believe, or yeah, around 15th last year or the year before. And his recent form's been steady. Um, Probably his average finish for the recent form is 12. So you have to like that as well. And also his greens. I mean, he's hitting 80% of his greens his last 6 tournaments. So he's very consistent. I like it a lot for this year and for this week as well.
Yeah, definitely. And looking through this tournament and looking at pricing from DK this week, there seems to be a lot of guys in that kind of 8K range as well that just seem to be bigger names or played well here before. I mean, I'm kind of looking this week to go balance. I mean, how are you kind of approaching it?
Yeah, I'm probably going to do the same thing as balance. The DraftKings pricing is just off this week. It seems like there's a lot of guys in the 7s where you're going, all right, normally he's like 2,000 more. And then you're looking, I believe there's Project Carrington is at 8,500, and normally he's like in the mid 6,000s. And a couple of guys already are asking, okay, does DraftKings know something that we don't know about Project Carrington? Why all of a sudden is he in the 8,000 range? But yeah, probably the one guy I'm going towards is probably Phil at 84. He's another one where, like John Rahm, this is Phil's backyard as well. This was his first tournament win on the tour as a amateur way back in like 94, 93, something like that. And the last 2 weeks he's been actually solid. So, and coming from 10,000 last week, going down to 84 this week, it's a nice little savings we're getting for Phil.
Yeah, I was going to say that price drop is pretty significant from last week, and a couple other guys that prices kind of. I mean, Patrick Reed, Bubba Watson, Brendan Steele, Zach Johnson, all kind of range. I feel like you can take some shots on.
It definitely seems, just like I said, a little wonky for PGA pricing this week. It's just something just seems a little off. Like you kind of think, okay, is this a trap or is this, what is this? So it's a lot of thinking into for the week, trying to make sure just sticking to your process, sticking to your core guys that you like, and just pick roughly 6 to 10 other guys that you want to play for the week.
And out of that 8K range, I mean, does anyone else really stand out that you could see as maybe an elite value?
I think for me, I'm going to have to go back to Brendan Steele at 8,200. Like last week, he's been very consistent. He almost finished high actually last week. He was up there at the beginning of Sunday, but then in a couple of bogeys towards the end, finished 20th. He only increased a couple $100 from last week. It was 8,000 last week. So I'm definitely going back to Steele for that one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his again this week. Moving down the list here, I mean, kind of sub 8K before we kind of get into the deeper value. Anyone in here that you're kind of looking at, or maybe a couple of guys at all?
I I'm kind of looking into Billy Horschel a little bit. He's at 7,500. His greens are really consistent. He's around the 73, 74% mark in his last 6 tournaments, so that's really good. He's also played here a couple times. He had a 24th and a 30th finish, and his last 2 starts were okay. Not the greatest, but at least he made the cut. And at 7,500, that's pretty much what you're looking for. He's just a guy to make the cut, and maybe he'll contend on one of the days, maybe hopefully on Sunday.
Yeah, I know a guy that you're also looking at, Roberto Castro, cheap guy, 6,900. You listed in your article this week.
Yeah, Castro, to me, if you have to compare him to someone up top, probably a Russell Knox type of player. He's just very consistent all around. His screens are up there. His last 2 times playing here, he finished top 20 in both times. And yeah, and he also, his last 2 starts were a 28th and a 50th finish for this year. So he's getting into form, and I think at 6,900 it might be a little cheap for him. I think he's probably at least 1,000 cheaper than what he should be.
Is there anyone else that you're really looking below him, or is that about the cheapest that you're going?
Probably the one guy I'm looking into is Lucas Glover at 6,500. Just like Castro, like the other guys I like, he's the guy that is really consistent with his irons. He hits a lot of greens. He's a pure tournament play. He's had a missed cut at this tournament, and he's had a so-so finish as well. But his last 2 times, I mean, he had a 33rd and a 41st his last 2 events for the year. So at 6,500, all you're looking for is a miss or a make the cut, and also maybe finish somewhere around the T30 mark. That's really what you're looking for.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, we'll kind of get to the guys here. Anyone that you're fading, I mean, or you're just completely off of this week?
I want to say Ricky Fowler. He seems a little off right now. He had an okay start at the HSBC tournament last year. And then after that, he's just been so-so. He was in a playoff here last year against Matsuyama, but I need to see a little bit more in him to start playing him. His price tag is a little too much for me right now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If he was kind of maybe, obviously we probably wouldn't get this, but below 9K, maybe you take a shot on him.
I mean, it has happened before where he was in a mid to low 8,000. It was once or twice last year where he was that cheap, and the guys were like, "Should we play him 100%?" So, I mean, he's one of those guys where you have to just watch for every week, see if he's on form or not. And right now, he's just so-so for me. So.
Yeah, for one of the bigger names, I mean, as you said, I needed to see a little bit better performance out of him at that price tag, and
Yeah,
exposure wise, I
I
don't
re-
see much coming.
yeah, I'd rather take Brooks Koepka below him, without a doubt. He's another guy that I'm looking at for this week. Just
And
for pure DraftKings scoring, he tends to make a lot of birdies. So
yeah, we've seen him run really hot before.
yeah.
As we kind of wrapped it up last week, who are you looking at to take it home? Dark horse winner.
Oh man. Well, the two picks I had last week both missed a cut, so that's a really good start. um, I think my dark horse guy, I'm going to go Russell Knox for the dark horse. And if I have to pick at the top, probably, yeah, I have to go with the hot hand right now, John Rahm. I think he'll pull with Justin Thomas and win back to back.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that happening a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and Rahm's still, 9,700, not that bad of a price tag for as well as he's playing.
Yeah, his ownership is going to go through the roof. I think that's just one of the things I'm pondering on. Is like where his ownership's going to be. Should fade him? Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, you kind of have to play him at this point. The guy's just red hot right now.
Yeah, he really does check off all the boxes heading into this week.
Yeah.
So, if you want to check out Chris's article, you can head on over to DaveFantasyCafe.com. He goes in depth in his GPP picks and kind of what he's looking at for this week. And good luck.